Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tuned and Strong podcast. This is Dr. Jen Cabas-May.
And this is my lovely co-host, Angela McCuiston of Music Strong.
She is of Tuned and Toned Performance. I was going to say Tuned and Strong, it's the wrong thing.
No, it's a hard podcast name with, we tried. It's fine. We're having a bit of a day today.
We've taken a bit of a hiatus and we've had a lot to catch up on. So
Yes, we have. We're going to try to get back into the swing of things here. So thanks for tuning in. Today's topic is something that I've kind of noticed happening a lot, especially the more people I work with, and the kind of the broader set of people I work with. There's this overall concept going around that there's a singular answer out there, and you're just going to go to the one person who knows the thing, and they're going to give you a thing to do, and it's going to fix everything. And that's
sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that's the correct reaction to that, by the way.
I laugh at you.
And it's not, to be clear, it's not a laugh of mockery. Right, because I was one of those people too, but I'm also like, that's funny. I was one of those people, I just fix me and send me on my way. That's not what I do. That's what you do. And I really come to this place of, it's probably not going to be a popular thing to say. We're going to say it anyway. And if you don't like it and it ruffles your feathers, then you can just hear us out. And if you still don't like it, leave your comments. But
do it anyway.
No one is coming to save you.
No one.
If you haven't heard that, no one is coming to save you. If you have a physical issue, a physical injury, a recurring problem, or something that is blocking your ability to attain your top level of performance and achievement, nobody else is coming to save you.
Oh.
There might be a lot of people who care whether or not you succeed. There might be a lot of people who would like to help. And there might be a lot of people that you consult, but this idea that you can just go to one, maybe two people and like, oh, well, they're the experts, so I'll just do what they say. Listen, if you're listening to me and you like what I say, I still want you to question me.
Mm-hmm. That's a good practitioner right there.
Yeah. You should question me, because maybe what I'm saying is not clear. Maybe what I'm saying doesn't work for you. Mm-hmm. But that's stuff that, again, as a good practitioner, I need to know. If it's not working, I need to know. And if what I do doesn't work for you, I need to send you to somebody else, but I need to know. And that doesn't mean like, oh, go do 3 sets of hamstring curls for this many reps, this many days a week, and you won't have back pain anymore. Mm-hmm. Maybe, but probably not. And if you never progress it, probably not. So that's something that's really been bees in my bonnet here.
My bonnet. Have you seen the meme of Cookie Monster? Oh, this is kind of old. The Cookie Monster meme that he's just shoving his face full of cookies, as the Muppet does. And he says, I don't know why I can't lose weight. Must be my personal trainer's fault.
Yeah, I have seen that one.
Nobody's coming. Nobody is coming to slap food out of your hand and prevent you from going to that restaurant or whatever it is that is going to interfere with your goals.
Right. And there's a lot of there's a lot of people who want to sell you things too. You know what I mean? Like, oh, just do this program. Oh, just buy this device. Oh, just buy a wrist brace for your forearm, hand pain for
I was going down a different path. I was thinking shake weight, thigh master.
I mean, but yeah, it's both paths. It's the same thing. But like at the end of the day, you're the one who lives in your body. I know we've talked about this before too on a different podcast, but it is absolutely your responsibility to know everything you can about what you're dealing with and how you're going to get out of it and every aspect. Like, do you need to know the nitty-gritty of the body like your chiropractor does in order to know whether or not chiropractic is right for you? No. Mm-mm. But if you feel worse rather than better, or if you have a condition where maybe an adjustment is not a good idea. Should you know that? Yes.
Right.
The chiropractor should too, but maybe they don't. Maybe you haven't given them enough information to make that judgment call.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of personal responsibility in that. You got to know your own body. You got to know everything you're doing to yourself and why, and question the people that you're working with.
Yeah. And when you're talking about, wearing this wrist brace, I actually had I think she's still a high schooler back from when I was teaching at Stetson, which I don't want to say back when COVID happened. So I'm going to guess it's going to happen again at some point. But anyway, she was a camper at the Stetson Flute Intensive, where I'm on the faculty for like a whole week. And I, obviously talk about fitness for flute players. And we do all kinds of stuff. She's like, "Hi, Ms. McCuiston. I don't know if you remember me." And like, this was 2 years ago. And I looked at her picture. I'm like, "Of course I remember you. You were one of the really jacked up ones." Bless your heart. Like some of these high schoolers are just, flute is so freaking intense in Florida. It's like marching band in Texas. It is serious business in Florida. So these kids are coming in with numbness and tingling in their hands, and they can't move their shoulders, and their necks are jacked. We're talking like stuff that took me a decade to have a problem with. They're getting after 4 years of playing. So this kid, I don't remember all the details, but she asked if I had a recommendation on a wrist brace for her. And I said, no, I don't. Why do you need a wrist brace? That's really what matters. Is it, are you seeking something that's going to just delay the pain so you can get through the gig or the show or the concert or whatever? Is it something like you have to keep your wrist immobilized because the doctor said you've got, when we talked about Mackenzie, she had to sleep with that brace on her elbow so she couldn't bend her elbow or something like that. That's totally different. Hers, she has tendonitis, I think it is. And I made sure to ask, was that self-diagnosed or did a doctor diagnose you in that? And I'm not saying this kid is trying to get out of doing things, but this is where it starts. This is where you have to understand how you have to advocate for yourself as a young musician. And I remember my first injury, I was 16 and I went to the doctor, and I'd been wearing a brace the whole time because I was at Interlochen and I was playing those bajillion hours a day. I had no idea about playing related pain. I'd never been injured in my life. Not like that, right? I never had an overuse injury. So when I was just doing what I had to do to get through, and I go see the doctor, and he tells me it's, severe tendonitis and you need to rest. And what was it? And then, but he also gave me physical therapy, which I appreciated. And he didn't say quit playing forever. He did say you need to stop playing. I was like, no, but I can't just quit, And I was listening to on another tangent, I was listening to the Things Musicians Don't Talk About podcast yesterday. And by the time this comes out, it'll be over, but please go check out their podcast this week, which is November 15th through the 21st of 2021. They are doing a whole thing on Musicians Injury Awareness Week. And the violin player who was on yesterday, I cannot remember her name, I apologize. She had an injury, and we're getting off on a tangent, but this is important. So she had an injury, and they diagnosed her, I forgot. They diagnosed her with something. It wasn't tendonitis. It was golfer's elbow, because she'd put too much attention on her right hand, or her right hand only. And the first thing I was thinking was, you're going to get focal dystonia. Because we talked about this, I'd be hyper obsessive about stuff. That's not what happened. She got golfer's elbow. The doctor told her to not use her right arm for 5 weeks. Her right arm, the entire right arm, not doing anything. It's like,
And think about how long 5 weeks is. Really,
oh my gosh.
If you're listening to this, think about how long 5 weeks is. Not in a, in the grand scheme of things. No. Think about not being able to use, what I'm going to assume is her dominant hand. It might not be, but think about not being able to use your dominant hand for 5 weeks.
You can't wash your hair, put on your makeup, put in your contacts, drive,
brush your teeth. Now,
forget about playing your instrument.
I do a lot of things left-handed because, again, advice I was given. Just use your left hand for as much as you possibly can. That created some different issues. It had some advantages, but it created some different issues. It also didn't help my right hand at all. At all.
No.
It did nothing.
Oh my gosh, I was so screaming at the radio.
Right. Right. Like and sometimes, I mean, this was medical advice.
This is medical advice. Do not use your entire right arm for 5 weeks.
Tendonitis diagnosis. When you get something like, oh, wear a brace for tendonitis, not for something like what we were talking about with Mackenzie and her, that's different. That's a different ballgame.
That was cubital tunnel, she thought.
That's a different ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
But base level tendonitis, when you've had all the exams and all the tests and all the, hi, kitty.
Levi says hello.
But basic tendonitis, when it's like, oh yeah, it's literally just overuse. There's nothing structurally wrong. So what I'm going to tell you is rest for weeks and put a brace on it. And maybe here's some prescription anti-inflammatories, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you ought to be real concerned, especially if it's not a one-time thing. Especially if it's not a one-time thing. If it's a recurring issue, like if it doesn't fix the problem the first time, something was wrong with the treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's easier for doctors to temporarily fix the symptoms.
I wish they would.
And just like, you think about it, you have to fix my problem, and you don't have any background in strength, which was my problem. Large amount, not the exclusive problem, but a large amount of my problem was strength. The safest thing you can do as a doctor is tell me to stop playing.
If it hurts, don't do it.
If it hurts, don't do it. Just stop playing. Just stop playing. That's a pretty safe thing to say as a doctor, because am I going to turn around and sue you for malpractice? No. Mm-mm. I should, but you're not going to win that lawsuit. Like, I'm not going to win that lawsuit. It's not going to happen. You know?
Yeah.
And so it came back on me to, look, this isn't working. I'm not saying don't get diagnosed. Absolutely not saying that. Go get diagnosed. Like, you need a diagnosis from a good doctor. One who's going to give you therapy, right direction.
But just a shot is not going to fix stuff.
Just a brace is not going to fix.
No.
Lots of things will not be fixed with a brace.
It might just delay it.
I had one that was like, well, if it feels better while you're playing to wear a brace, then that's okay.
You're missing the point. Why should I have to wear a brace in the first place? Hello?
Second off, you realize I'm cutting off circulation while doing fine motor work. I was causing more damage. I just couldn't feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. We went down a rabbit hole at this one, but but I'm thinking about this lady who said that when she got done, she, I'm screaming like, no, don't just rest, rehab, do the physical therapy. I'm like spitting and like I'm angry and and then she said, overall, I realized I was overall weaker after 5 weeks. My entire body was weaker. I hired a personal trainer, and I was like, good for you. You should have done that time.
Yeah.
You can move your shoulders, and you could have prevented whatever. But I mean, and that was really nice to hear. And with this other kid, I eventually gave her she was not looking for a quick fix. So the good news is she was taking personal responsibility while she was trying to figure out until I can get this, whatever. And she's like, can I get some support for do whatever it was? And then I sent her the video. And if you guys are on YouTube, check out my channel. I've got a video there called Forearm Flow, Avoid Carpal Tunnel with this forearm flow. And it's basically an Instagram reel. So it's really sped up because there's a bunch of things to it. But it's basically, you massage what's tight, you stretch what's weak, then you strengthen and you increase the endurance of your forearm muscles, including your grip. And then we deal with the shoulder. I mean, it's all connected, right? So we were going along with that. So I sent her that. And then I said, the brace that I wore, she's looking for something flexible. And I was like, I just got one at CVS and it worked okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember, but it's not going to solve your problem. And so she's going to keep me updated. But, getting back on this whole thing about personal responsibility, and a cortisone shot is not going to solve the issue. And have you seen that show on TLC called My 600 Pound Life?
Oh God, I know about it.
Can't stop watching. I've been obsessed with the show for like a decade or more, 2 decades. I don't know.
Oh geez.
I just happen to have access to it now. All of a sudden, it's like, how do you get to be 700 pounds? You know, because I'm kind of fascinated with the psychology behind it.
Right.
It's very seldom, and this directly applies to what we're talking about, but it's very seldom something that happens on your own. You usually have a family dynamic or people close to you that enable that. And they really, it's coming from a good place, just like doctors who want to help you and they don't know what to do. It's coming from a good place.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. And there are absolutely, you know, doctors who want to help and just don't really know how. And sometimes they tell you that they don't know how. That's a really good doctor.
Yes.
The ones who just try to throw something at you, that's an okay doctor. They're at least trying. But then there are ones that are just straight up neglect. Like, just stop playing. The end. Like, no, this is stupid.
Oh, you mean like the ones I called out by name in my boundaries episode? Yeah, I called them out by name. I'm not ashamed of it. I left him a very bad Google review. He deserves it. Friggin' narcissist. Sorry,
That's okay.
I'm not sorry. There is no excuse for that kind of attitude and arrogance in the medical profession.
Yeah.
If you can't handle a client coming in and throwing anatomical terms at you and having a civil conversation, you've got a problem. And that also means you shouldn't be trusted. If your ego is above helping people and you insult your clients, run. If you ever feel like that with somebody, just anyway.
Yeah. No, you need, and not just doctors, you need all sorts of practitioners you trust.
Oh yeah.
You know? But circling back because
back to the 100-pound life. Okay, I'm going somewhere with the story. So
okay.
I'm fascinated by the psychology behind it. Like, why? Number one, you've got this dynamic of people that enable this, and they're, like I said, it's usually coming from a good place. Like, they just want to help you. They know food makes you feel good, and then it comes to this thing. Well, I can't get it myself, and I can't. Well, I'll just bring it to you, and then suddenly you can't move, and you have no quality of life, and you're like, and so it's kind of fascinating to see that. And these enablers, they can't see it. Like, it hurts so much for them to watch. They feel like the person they're taking care of is being deprived, and it hurts them, you know. But that's a whole other thing about psychology,
right?
But here's the thing about that show: there is the doctor that these people go see is in Houston. His name is something foreign I can't pronounce. Starts with a Z or a now or something. Anyway, his thing is with these people. He does like lap band surgery for them. No. It's what's the other one? Where they make your stomach into like the size of a peach. Gastric bypass. He does gastric bypass on morbidly obese, like incredible, like the heaviest people in the world, which has a huge risk. And so what I love about this show is he doesn't pull any punches with you. He's like, you could die on this table. And by the way, you got here and it's your fault. So before I risk your life, I'm going to need to see, well, number one, you got to tell me why that you think that this is going to help you, because this is not a quick fix. This is a start, and it's completely on you to do something about it. And then he asks them, okay, if they give him the right answers, you know, like, I've got to be around for my kids. I miss walking upstairs. I want to have a job again. I want to drive, all these things. And he goes, okay, fine. You need to lose 50 pounds in the next, I don't know, however many long. It's something ridiculous like 2 weeks or a month, but when you're 750 pounds, that's not a big deal. I mean, really, you can. So what he does is he's like, I need to see that your mindset is in the right place and you're going to be able to do this before otherwise I'm going to do this surgery for you and it's going to not do any good. So he's forcing that personal responsibility on them. And then they talk about, you know, when you're going back home, you've got this family dynamic. The whole family's got to be on board. And what's great is, like, when you're watching this show, you're seeing how the ones who do it, who lose, like, no lie, like they lose 3 people's worth of body weight, like 300-400 pounds, which is just mind boggling. you can see this, the struggle is real, like literally the struggle is real, right? But then you can see their mental attitude and they hold to their why, even in the face of people who keep trying to bring them back, because it makes those other people feel inferior when they're like, no, I'm sticking to this. Well, you can have one. No, I cannot. But there was one show. No. No, it's like, he goes, well, and there was one guy, this guy was like, oh my gosh, he was huge. He was 700 pounds and he was walking. Amazing, right?
Actually amazing. Like, that's
like, how do your knees not turn to powder?
If he gets himself healthy, that is a dude who should be lifting, because he would be
that's a whole other conversation. Yes. He hired a personal trainer day one. And he did it. He did it. He dropped his weight to like, he was a really tall guy. He dropped his weight to like 180 from 758 or something crazy. Got married by the end of it, was still working out with a trainer, like just killing life. It was awesome. There was another lady, ended up just too focused on the weight loss path. She looked like a sack of potatoes at the end. Bless her heart. And I was just like, I want, you need shape, you need strength. Oh my gosh, you just look small now. And, but that's my thought, not her life.
Yeah. Right.
So here's the thing. You see all these success stories, but there are some that don't.
Oh, there are a lot.
One lady. Yes. There was one lady who weighed 100 pounds less than the big guy, 650, whatever. I don't know. And she was just bedridden. Her husband was very, I don't want to make her mad. So you'd rather kill her with food?
Effectively.
Yeah. I mean, he was very weak-willed and yeah. You can watch the show and see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But she showed in the beginning that yes, she could lose 30 pounds. She had the surgery, didn't lose a pound after that. And she had every excuse in the world. And the doctor's like, shut up. Stop it. I'm not going to listen to this. You're making excuses. And she's like, well, what'd she say? Like the scale they misread the scale, or that the scale was not properly calibrated when I was first. And look at this. Look at my sleeves. Look, they're so loose. And he's like, it's been 6 months and you've lost 0 weight. You haven't changed your habits. Your husband is not helping you. You need to get up and walk. And she was like a very, big drama queen. And like anything hurt. Oh, this hurt. Oh, I can't. I'm like, there's a guy who weighs 100 pounds more than you that's walking around and you can't get out of bed. So it's like, it's not a quick fix. The surgery, the thing, whatever it is, you've got to take that personal responsibility for your own life and you can change it around to be whatever you want. Things are just tools. They're not quick fixes. And that I just loved seeing the two parts of that. And then at the end of it, I was just like, oh no, you could succeed. It's just like,
it's the difficulty of it. And I personally very hesitant to take that show into our conversation. I'll just put that out there. Because there are a lot of, like dangerous assumptions that can be made. So if you're making those dangerous assumptions, just stop. We're not talking about that. Whatever it is you're taking offense at, that's not what we're doing here. But it's that I'm sure it hurt. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely 100% believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people, and it's not just those people, it's people that I see in day-to-day life who look absolutely normal, who appear to be normal, who function on a surface level normal, who are, yes, it hurts to put yourself out there. It hurts to try to get better. It hurts to step outside of, well, I do this. It does. It sucks.
It does.
And again, I'm speaking firsthand. I was a clarinetist. I was really good at it. And I had these other elements that were just like poking out. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I'm good at this. And I had the potential for all these other things, but I was a clarinetist. And it hurt to have to go, well, apparently this issue is not getting solved by my GP. This issue is not getting solved by this, that, the other. And I made progress in this area, but I'm obviously not getting any better. Like there's the wall here. I'm not getting past this level. And I know I should be. I'm aware that I should be. It's obvious, but I can't. And so having to go, okay, I need to continue pursuing this. Oh, that's hard. Oh, that's hard. It's a lot easier, honest to God, to keep doing the surface level fixes and making excuses and sitting on the couch and eating ice cream and, you know, drinking wine, watching TV. Like, that's so much easier than, okay, I got to fix something. Something's got to change because this isn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do start pursuing things, you're going to fail. You're going to fail a lot. You know?
Yeah.
You have to.
That's okay.
That's how we learn as a species.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we learn. That's how animals learn.
Yeah.
You know, you watch kittens and they're like trying to figure out how to drink water, and every time they're just like, oh, I want to get this thing in the bowl, and they miss it every time. Shaking their heads like, oh, it's wet every time.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually they stop doing that. They figure, like, I don't know if their eyes develop further, but they mess up a lot. You know what I mean? You watch them try to jump up onto things for the first time, they miss a lot.
All those cats that miss in grand, they're like, I'm going to calculate.
It's hilarious. You know, it's like,
so funny.
The older ones is a different kind of funny, but the younger ones where it's like, okay, jump, plop.
They miss
Fantastic, you know, but eventually they don't.
Yeah.
You see the same thing with human babies. Like, okay, well, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to let go, plop. Okay, well, that didn't work.
Yep.
I'm going to stand up. I'm going to let go, plop. Well, eventually they don't plop. They stand. That's literally how we're designed to learn. You think that those plops didn't hurt? I bet they did a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? So things like, does it suck to have to go, okay, I have this issue. My GP isn't fixing it. My chiropractor is helping, but it's not getting better. What else needs to be done? Okay, nobody has an answer. I need to go look into this. I need to try this stuff. I need to do the thing that's uncomfortable. That's not normal for musicians. You know what's normal for musicians in terms of health? Massage, often chiropractic, yoga, and meditation.
That's it.
There is nothing wrong with any of those.
Mm-hmm.
But you ask them to do anything that involves intense exertion or intensity in like not an extreme way, but beyond hot yoga.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you guys listen to our episode with Roy, like he went down that path a little bit, right? He was talking about all the things that were difficult, and he's a large guy, but he's not given up. He's still trying to find the thing that works for him, and he puts himself out there on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Now he makes a fool out of himself all the time because he's freaking hilarious. But you know, he's not afraid to fail, to try and fail.
Right. Well, and to
do the hard things.
Most people are going to look at him and go, does he look like a goofball? Maybe, you know, you giggle a little bit, but it's giggling from a place of respect. You know,
I love Roy.
I had a friend once who told me that she didn't want to go, she wanted to start running, but she didn't want to go run at the track because she didn't want to be the chubby chick running at the track. And I'm like, I walk by that track every single day. You know who I respect? The chubby kids.
Yep. 100%.
It's
100%.
easy if you are athletic to go out there and not worry about what people are thinking about how you look.
Yeah.
But if you know you're overweight and you want to go learn how to run better and have like better cardio capacity and go to the track in a public place, I have mad respect for that. Yeah, you may look like, you know, a baby elephant learning to walk for the first time. I don't care. You're there. Mad respect.
Mad respect. The really overweight people in the gym.
Oh yeah. And they always turn into monsters, like absolute beasts. It's amazing and wonderful. And I love it. Yep. You know? Yep. But like and on the other end of that, the people who are going to judge you for putting yourself out there, they'll probably make you try to make you feel bad. It's going to happen. It'll sting. Oh, yeah. It'll suck.
That's projection.
But those people, yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Those people who are coming at you, it's because they have a problem with themselves. That's what it is.
100%.
Every time. Every time. If they're judging you, there's something wrong with them and they don't like what you're doing because you are challenging them.
Yep. So this whole thing with what we're trying to do about bringing awareness to musicians' injuries and how you can advocate for yourself, all the different options there are, whether it's strength training or, you know, acupuncture or whatever your thing is. Musicians' health is not a one size fits all.
It's not.
However,
Yeah.
There is going to be some pain involved when you try to, well, emotional pain when you buck the status quo, and that's if it's not accepted. But also there's going to be some like physical pain because you're not, we're not talking about injury pain. When we're trying to overcome an injury, you're going to feel awkward and uncomfortable. But that's where, and it's so cliche. It's like, oh, things that are on the other side of fear and discomfort, but it's true. If you keep doing the same things, you're going to feel comfortable. It's not going to change.
There's a friction to personal growth.
A
literal physiological friction to it, and emotional and psychological, but it's that friction because you're taking your boundaries, whatever they are, physical, mental, emotional, and you are pushing them. That creates friction. It's uncomfortable. And you feel super unsafe while doing it. Not like I'm in danger unsafe, but just like as a person, your personhood feels unsafe because you're challenging it. That's normal. It's good. It means you're growing. It means you're alive. It means you're learning, like,
yeah. I mean, when it comes to the whole thing of personal responsibility, though, I mean, like we can go so many directions with this. I mean, I don't want to just talk about avoiding injury and overcoming injury and having the courage to fire your doctor if you need to, or any of those things, stepping up for yourself and whatnot. But it's, as you said, no one is coming. No one. We're all learning how to adult here. And you do know how to take care of yourself. But that means you have to take care of yourself. And sometimes when we think, like we talked about a long time ago, we were talking about self-care. Self-care doesn't necessarily mean, sometimes it does mean sitting on the couch in your pajamas and not getting out of your pajamas and all day. Yeah. Sometimes it does. Other times that's avoidance.
Yes. You have to know the difference between the two.
Right.
And if you feel like, well, I don't know how to take care of myself. Okay. That's a good first step.
Yeah.
Knowing that is a good first step. Now it's time to do something about it. And if you're doing what you think is self-care and you're not seeing improvements, it's time to try something else. It doesn't mean it's going to be the right thing for you. Is lifting going to be the right thing for you? I'm going to venture to say yes, but maybe not. If you're avoiding meditation, there might be a reason for that. If you are avoiding, it's all the flow state stuff, right? Yeah. So if you're avoiding a flow state, if you're avoiding a fight state, you're avoiding intensity, what are you avoiding? Because there's probably something in that space that you're afraid to touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're going to just have to try, because again, no one's coming to rescue you, like we can make suggestions, but if you're like, well, okay, so clearly I need to spike my fight state because I've got all of this built up frustration, and not like, oh, I'm so mad at the world, but like you're suppressing it. That's a different thing than like, oh, I just need to go. It's a different thing. If you're not expressing it and you're storing it and you're locking yourself up because of it, that's different. Okay, so you need to go and express the fight state, but you're not in the lifting, or you don't feel like you can move heavy weights safely, and maybe you can't, and you've tried. That's the important part. You've tried. Well, am I going to be able to make suggestions? Maybe. But I think you're going to have to find a sport if that's what you need to express. I think you need to find a sport. There's community sports. You can do it. If you're looking for a flow state and you've tried yoga and it's not your thing, maybe you need to do something else that's also flow based, like
Tai Chi, Qigong,
Tai Chi, dance. Any of the slower martial arts would do it. Anything that involves controlled forms would get you into a flow state. As long as you have a good instructor and you're not in a class of 30, like you've got somebody actually looking at what you're doing. You can start in a class of 30. Don't get me wrong. Just know that there's going to be limitations. Yeah. And that turns it back on you.
I think this is a good time for us to take a little commercial break.
I think so too.
Hey there. My name is Dr. Garrett Hope. I am a composer, coach, podcaster, and speaker. I've been focused on building my music business since 2014 and helping others build theirs since 2015. I want to tell you about the second annual Ultimate Music Business Summit we are organizing. It'll take place early January of 2022. There will be dozens of presentations with highly actionable content, all of it available to you so you can start your business, grow your business, and ultimately make more money. Because here's the deal. Unless you earn all of your income from an employer, you are a self-employed small business owner. And if you want to do more than survive, if you want to grow your audience, or if you want to impact more people, you have to think and act like a business owner. And that means this summit is for you. This summit will give you real-world, not theoretical, strategies you can implement immediately. You don't need to be stuck with fear or living in your failures. I promise you, with all the teachers lined up, you will get something you've never thought of before. Even though building a business is hard, no one is promising it's easy. It is possible. You just need the right tools and strategies. Tickets for this virtual event will go on sale soon. To be the first in line and to get more information about the summit, presenters, and more, go to musicsummit.biz. That's musicsummit.biz and add your email to the list.
So we're back and we're talking about personal responsibility. So there's another direction I want to go with this just a little bit.
Yeah.
And that has to do with the investment that you make in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can be extremely easy for us to, I was listening to somebody today said, I know some people who will spend $500 a month on their car, but they will completely hesitate to spend anywhere like not even $200 a month on themselves, investing in themselves, not other things, but in like an investment in yourself or investing in anything. But, it just has to do with where your priorities are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about that, we were talking a little bit about this a little bit ago about this. Whenever I send my rate sheet to people, and you can get this on my website, I'm happy to send it to anybody who wants to see it. I don't want any musicians to have sticker shock. When you work with me, I don't want you to get to the end of a sales call and be like, whoa, what, so I'll put it out there. It's subject to change, but I'll put it out there, right? So what is it that we look at? I've got personal training, and then I've got hybrid training, and then I've got online only, and then I've got, like single sessions, which I don't really do. And then at the very end, it's just write me a workout. So it's like, write me a written workout plan.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what people do the most? The cheapo option.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 times out of 10, the last 5 people that have done this in the last 5 months, I've had one person follow through.
Yep.
And this is typical. I've had one person who's just like, no, I'm really familiar with weight training. I don't need to be handheld. I don't need accountability. I just need a plan. I'm also in that boat. Like, no, I get it. I don't need it. I just need someone to write me something to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And this person has really just, they take the workout, they make their own spreadsheet, they make notes, they whatever. And then, they send it to me. And in the next month, I write them another workout. And that way they do the thing.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm thinking of 2 or 3 other people, 4 other people, no, 3 other people that have done it. But it's like, a couple of them are here in Nashville with me. And when we first talked, I was like, for sure, I will write you that. And then, you can add on one-on-one sessions as you need them. Absolutely. But here it's been 3, 4, 5 months, and they have yet to actually implement the plan. They might have started once and done it twice.
Right.
And here's the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I've got another guy, actually. He signed up for online training. He has yet to use it. And it's been a year, and he's paid me for a whole year and hasn't done.
Yeah.
Here's the reason why. When we do not put enough skin in the game, and we don't have so let me back up. Pain isn't always bad, because pain is where we have growth. When you have to push through something that's uncomfortable, that stretches you, that challenges you. And sometimes that can be financial. I just got done with a business course that I invested quite a lot of money, and I was really scared to invest it. So I was like, this could be a couple months, mortgage payment. Yeah. But I was like, I'm tired of playing small. There's so much I don't know. I'm willing to invest in myself. And I learned so much through that. It was totally worth it. But what I see is when people take we take the lowest priced option, or we price shop. We want the lowest price. Well, you get what you pay for, right? And then we don't have that accountability because we can kid ourselves into saying we did something. And this is not saying anything on the people. If any of these clients of mine are listening to this is not what I mean for you. But what I'm saying is because there's always kind of different circumstances, right?
Right.
But if you invest a big chunk of money into something, you generally will follow through and be dedicated. And even if it hurts, because you're like, no, man, I got to make this work for me. This is important. But if you barely, like we don't value what's free, right? So
yeah, which is so mind-boggling, but that's me.
Yeah, I know we don't. That's another reason I don't do free sessions, because they don't ever translate into anything. Not once has that ever translated into a client. They just wanted the free session. It wastes both our time. So wouldn't it be great if we could trial doctors like that? Oh, but we can't. So here we go. So when I'm seeing these people that they just want the lowest price option, and I'm looking at them and I'm talking to them, and yes, it's great for certain people, but I can always get a sense of like, you're not going to do this. You're just going to waste your money. And then you're going to come back in 4 months. Hey, can we get a session? Yeah, sure. What have you done? Nothing. You don't need a written workout plan. You need one-on-one training with me. And then we can transition that into hybrid training, or transition that in only online, or transition that into the workout plan. But you don't start there, because when it comes to that personal responsibility, there has to be enough pain involved for you to want to actually follow through.
Right.
And I don't see it. And it's hard to convince somebody of that right off, especially when you don't know them very well. Right. But I mean, I have really thought about just dropping that completely from my programming, but it really is effective for certain people, like myself included.
Well, and so I'll tell you right now, I've got a couple secret menu items, and I don't put mine on the website like certain restaurants do. Like, no, it is a secret menu. I'm only going to offer it to you if I actually think it's what you need.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm not touching it. Like, I don't want to. It's not good for me. It's not good for most people who ask about it. Like, nope. But yeah, I mean, it's that you need to be uncomfortable enough to know that you're going to do it. Or you won't. If you're like, well, it's the cheap gym membership,
which turns into your monthly donation.
It's the cheap gym membership that turns into your monthly donation, because you're comfortable knowing that you could go at any time. And it's that, okay, well, but I'm paying, I'm doing something.
Look, I did something. Now I have proof. I have a receipt.
You're not doing, if you're not going in, you're not doing it. And quite frankly, most of those cheapos they're not what you need for most people. Like, you have to be really knowledgeable and really self-sufficient for it to be worth your time. Otherwise, you need to be working with somebody. Like, it's like practicing for musicians. That's just for a musician's podcast. That's all I can compare it to, is like, would you really, if you knew, like, obviously you don't know when you're just starting out, but if you were a knowledgeable enough musician, would you just go into this self-guided self-training course? Oh, well, you could do this and you could do that and you could do. We know better. You need to work with someone. In a group is good. One-on-one is better. But we know that we need to invest in our musical careers, our musical abilities that way. And a lot of it's financial. It's not always. I mean, there was a program that I bought that was financially comfortable for me to buy. It wasn't a huge stretch. It wasn't like, oh my God, it's going to be, it's not like the thing that you were talking about.
That was a stretch.
But it was so far out of my norm. It was so far out of my norm that I'm like, and it involved weekly calls.
Yep. So as you just heard, my pilot program also does that. So
I'm like, if I do this, it's not like it's expensive. And I do value free things if it's from a good source, but I'm unusual, I've learned. So
most people don't.
No, most people don't. So for me, it's a different game then. If I value the free thing, if it's coming from a different, okay, so then I don't need finances to get me involved. What do I need? I need something that is far enough outside of my norm and comfort zone. And knowing that they were optional calls. It's not like I had to show up every week. And there were certainly people who bought the program that I did that didn't show up for the calls.
Mm-hmm.
I showed up and I ended up asking more questions than anybody else.
Yeah, right.
Those that I'm sitting there like kind of freaking out before I hit the purchase button. And it's not because of the price. It's like, if I click buy, I'm actually going to have to do this.
I'm going to have to do this.
I'm going to have to do this. And I was very afraid of it. And I'm like, it was great. I stole so much from that program. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what it's for, I'm sure.
So many things. It was largely with a group of other coaches. Like there were a few competitive athletes, but it was largely other coaches. So yeah, it was meant to be like that. So yeah, it's that if it's not a financial thing for you, find something that makes you nervous enough that you know you're going to do it.
Yes.
Because there will be some sort of consequence to yourself if you don't. And I don't mean like, oh, well, there's going to be backlash. No, you're going to know. I don't care if your workout partner doesn't care if you show up or not. That's not, if you don't feel guilty and your partner doesn't feel guilty, that's nothing. Mm-hmm. If you feel guilty because you're leaving your workout partner out in the cold, that's good. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. Yeah. You know, and that leads to, okay, well, now you're going to translate, if you're doing it right, if you're really trying to grow, that's going to translate to, okay, my workout partner is gone for a month, but I know whether I went out and did it or not. Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. Am I okay with not?
Yeah, that gets into integrity, which is, yeah. There's a book. Have you read this book? It's called Extreme Ownership.
No, I think I have it.
Yeah, I think I've got it up on my website in the shop if you guys want to check it out. I'm not going to go into it much, but when it comes to personal responsibility, that's exactly all of what it's about. It's about owning your actions, whether they were good or bad. And, you know, like saying it's not just, we're not just pushing outside your comfort zone, like we've been talking about, or pushing through pain or whatever. It's also about taking personal responsibility for everything that happens to you. There is an amazing podcast that I have been listening to lately with the guy's name is David Nagel. It's called the Successful Mind Podcast. And he has something that he says quite often. And now as soon as I say that, I completely forget exactly how it goes. But yeah, it's basically like, you have created the life you are living. If there are things in it you like, that's your fault. If there are things in it you don't like, that's your fault. Now, he's not talking obviously about stuff you cannot change, but your living situation, your amount of income and outgo, your clothing, your housing, your et cetera, is a direct result of you. And that's going to be very unpopular to hear, because it's super easy. This is what Jocko would say in the other book. It's like, no, this is all you. But his thing is, that's interesting. What am I doing to create this for myself? Mm-hmm. And you're approaching it with a sense of creativity and interest and curiosity. Yes. What am I doing? Not judgment, but what am I doing to create this situation for myself?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's an important mindset difference here that we're talking about, is not like, because I know people are going to hear what you just said and go, oh, well, I can't help that I was, raised by this type of person or had this horrible traumatic experience. And you're right.
Yep.
You're right. That's absolutely correct. It's not about that. It's about, and there are obviously going to be things you can't control. I don't think anybody really, you'd have to be an idiot to not think that. But
that's not what we're talking about, guys.
Again, it's about what, when you come at it from that creative approach that you were just talking about, when you come at it from that creative approach of,
you're curious.
What am I? Yeah. Curiosity, non-judgmental curiosity. What am I doing? Yeah. What am I doing? Or what could I be doing? Or what do I want to do about that?
What have I been doing to put me in this situation? How have I
created those statements? You're taking the power back for yourself.
Yep.
And we talked about this on our eating disorders one. Yeah. It's like, if you give yourself permission, You now have control.
Mm-hmm.
If you give yourself a sense of responsibility about your health, your body, your life, you are giving yourself a modicum of control back.
Oh my gosh. Taking personal responsibility is so much, it's so freeing. It sounds like it's shackling,
It's
but it's really
terrifying.
freeing. It's an opportunity.
It's terrifying. It is.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
But what you end up with on the other side is not only is it worth it, it's addicting in like the best way possible.
Yeah.
Because like if you had told me at 20 who I was going to be at 33, I would have looked at you like you had two heads. Like,
right.
I don't lift. I don't know who that person is. I would never marry somebody who looks like my husband. You know, and not that I don't like the way he looks, just that like 20-year-old me had a very different idea of the kind of person that I would end up being attracted to, you know?
Sure.
But that being put in that position of, okay, I'm not improving. I'm not seeing what I want to see out of my life. And finally going, okay, nobody else is helping me. Nobody else can help me. That's very clear. There are a couple of people who really want to. There are a couple of people who did really good work.
Yeah.
But it's not where we should go. It's not where I should be.
Right.
Finally making the decision to go, okay, I actually need to be an expert on my own body. Oh, scary.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's what I do. You know? Like,
yeah.
And I didn't need to end up doing it in the long, like, not that I didn't, it doesn't need to be what I do for a living. You know what I mean? For me to still feel like the personal responsibility of it is so rewarding that you keep coming back for what else can I learn? What else can I know? What else am I capable of doing? You know,
where else can I change into what I want? What else am I doing that's holding me back that I can change, because it's my life. When you take personal responsibility, you get it's freeing, because you realize you're the only thing holding yourself back with whatever it is that you've self-imposed. Like, your actions are creating the life you're living.
Right. And
where is it that you want to change? Well, go change it.
If you have external factors that are affecting that, maybe it's your timeline that's the problem. But again, that's self-reflection.
Yeah.
If it's your concept of what you think your timeline should be that's the problem, that's on you.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee, I mean, the number of people who are like, well, but if I take time off and do this work, then I'm not going to graduate on time. On time for who?
According to who?
On time for who?
Right.
And again, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
That was me.
You've got to do it in 4 years. Says who?
I've got to do it in 4 years, and I've got to do this master's in 2, and I've got to do my doctorate in 2, and I've got to have a job by this age, and that.
Says who?
I look back now and I'm like, that was insane.
Yeah.
That was insane. Yeah. And I look at the kids behind me coming through, and I'm like, I wish I could help you understand that your timeline is going to sabotage you.
Mm-hmm.
You're a high school player. You can take a little bit of time to figure this out. You don't need to play that competition in a month. You're in high school.
Right? You have your whole life.
It's okay. But again, personal responsibility. You have to be willing to adjust your timeline based on realistic expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to drop a link to the Successful Mind podcast in the show notes, because guys, if you're not listening to this, it's amazing. Dude got sucked through a dam and lived. Dude, what? Like, nobody does that. Like, you die with what? And he tells about his story. I think it's like episode 40 or something. It's just incredible. And he goes from driving a forklift, making $20,000 a year. Granted, he's not a musician. But it doesn't matter. Right. And the mindset shift he went from, and this is brilliant. And this this doesn't necessarily have to do with personal responsibility, but so fun to talk about. He goes from 20 grand a year with a family living out of their car because they got evicted and they had to leave in the middle of the night. And he was ashamed, embarrassed. He had no high school diploma, no nothing, no education. And he was embarrassed. And he was just like, I hate this. I want to get, and the more he fought and was like, how, the worse things got. And so then he gets sucked through this dam. Like, what? That phrase should never be uttered by a human. But anyway, he lives, and his whole mindset shifted. And sometimes it takes those kinds of things for us to be whacked literally in the side of the head and go, oh, okay, right? So he went from that to, no lie, making millions. And his first step, and he loves to talk about this, is that his first step was, he was like, if I could just double my income to 40,000, it would solve all my problems. Yeah, right. Okay, that's not how that works. As you know, the older ones of us know that is not how that works. But that's where, and then he would think, how do I do it? It's not about that. And so he has this whole wonderful podcast about changing your way of thinking. And it's not about the how. You just focus on what you want. And then you have to take that personal responsibility to take hold of those opportunities when they come, even if they are a scary thing. Like the first step in him doing it, I think he was like, instead of doing a forklift, he went from making 20 to 60 in 30 days. And it came in the opportunity of him driving like a gas truck or something. And he was like, that's a bomb on wheels. I don't want to do it. And it really took him changing his mindset to be like, well, maybe this is what I need. And that set him on a path to whatever. I haven't made it all the way through, but it's just like, what opportunities so if you think about it, everything in your life where you are right now is within your power to control. I know I'm not talking about, diabetes or anything like that. I'm talking about, y'all know what we're talking about.
Right.
So where is it that you would like to change things? What can you do? And then think about where you want to be, and don't worry about the how all the time so much.
Right.
Sometimes we get bogged down in the how and it makes things worse.
Right.
Yep.
And sometimes we get bogged down in the how so much that we don't see an opportunity when it's there.
Yes. And it's going to come in some, more than likely, the big fun ones come in a way you never thought of.
Yeah. But
yeah. And then it's the fun time of, do I have the guts to try this? Well, what if it fails? Oh, okay. That's one way that's not going to work. So approaching your life with a sense of curiosity, but then like that book states, it's like, take responsibility for everything in your life. Everything, even if you think it's not you. Well, somebody cut me off. Well, think about traffic. For an example, when somebody totaled my car, that puts that doesn't allow me to take responsibility, which is like, what? You got to read the book to understand it. But it's like, that happened. My car was totaled. That gave me the opportunity now to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Instead of being like, somebody hit me and I'm a victim, and yeah, for sure I was. But that doesn't help my situation. If I take responsibility for, I was out there driving, I was maybe a little too close, whatever, they hit me, yes. But now I have this cool opportunity that I didn't have before to now have my car, it was totaled, but now I can still drive it and whatever, go read the book. It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I'm doing a horrible job of talking about it. I got to go reread it again.
Yeah, it's just still, again, taking back power is what it is. It is. I mean, take your moment to feel terrible about what happened. That's a good thing. You need it. And moment, when I say take your moment, I don't know how long that is, depends on the person. Mm-hmm. But if you can turn it into something that you can use as a positive, constructive tool, why wouldn't you want to?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's a good stopping point for us.
I think so too. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hopefully we didn't ramble too badly. I think we did okay.
Hopefully that's why people enjoy listening to us
hopefully. Make sure, if you're watching, to like, subscribe, send out some comments, share it with your friends. I mean, we need so much help on the social medias. Anything, if you like this, anything you can do, share it with your friends, let them know where to find us. We greatly appreciate that. We are on all of your favorite podcast platforms, Tuned and Strong Podcast. We're on Anchor. We're on YouTube.
We're on all the places.
We're on all the places. You can find me on all the socials at Tuned and Toned Performance. That's Tuned with a D and Toned with a D. tunedandtonedperformance.com, or my personal Instagram is Doc Beefcake. Yep, I love that still. Doc Beefcake.
That so makes me laugh.
It makes me happier every time I see it.
Good. Good. Yeah.
So Angela, let's go ahead and share where we can find you.
Oh, y'all know where to find me. It's all Music Strong everything. Music Strong Fitness, Music Strong, whatever. Yeah, y'all can find us anywhere. So please like, share, subscribe, share especially, because we're doing this for y'all, and we really love to reach more of y'all. So we're going to put all the things in the show notes, and please join us next time. Bye.
Bye.